The Catholic Morning Show.
Great to have you back, folks. When you're thinking about the journey of education, I know it seems like, what journey of education? You just send your kids to school, but everybody who has any sort of relationship to a person who has gone through school knows that's a journey from the start to the finish. What a transformation that can be. And deeply intertwining our Catholic faith in that journey is something all of us are interested in doing. I know that you, if you have a child, have stayed up thinking about this at night. How am I going to make this work? Well, there's many ways that this might happen, but we're going to talk about an initiative brewing here in Iowa among the 4 Catholic dioceses, the Iowa Catholic Scholarship Granting Organization, and how that deals with the Education Freedom Tax Credit. We're speaking with Steve Kane today precisely about that. Steve, thanks for coming on the Catholic Morning Show.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
So for people who have not heard the idea of either the Iowa Catholic Scholarship Granting Organization or the Education Freedom Tax Credit, do you mind explaining both of those things to the listeners?
Absolutely. So back in, July of 2025, and it was part of President Trump's big, beautiful bill, but the Educational Choice for Children Act was signed. It's part of that bill, and it provided federal tax credits at 100% for donors that would contribute through a 501c3 like the one that we're forming for us to award for scholarship opportunities for students that are attending our schools. It's not just limited to Catholic schools, but in our case, we are just set up for the Catholic schools in the state of Iowa, all 67 of us. And so the 4 dioceses decided to band together, and we're going to raise funds and award scholarships and help more children go to our schools.
So for folks that are maybe unaware of how this works, it's hard to miss in Iowa, but maybe if you go like private schools, federal money, how does all this work? If you don't mind catching up just maybe in the general trend of Iowa and education and how that applies to Catholic schools.
Well, there's the trend towards school choice and freedom of parents to choose the education system or school that's best for them has been moving for a number of years. It goes back almost 20 years as far as the state of Iowa goes, because we have a state tax credit program as well that allows us to do similar things. The only difference is that that's a 75% tax credit instead of a 100% tax credit. So the momentum towards the freedom of choice has been growing for a number of years, and it's really caught fire here more recently. And so our schools are here and ready for that. I'm not sure I answered your question completely, but...
Well, for folks that are unaware, if they're hearing this for the first time, what are some basics that they need to have in mind in order to approach the Catholic Scholarship Granting Organization, and what should they look into if this is something that they want to pursue?
Sure. So we're going to set a platform up at a website and the portal and all those things so that parents, grandparents, anyone in the state of Iowa that wants to contribute towards a student attending one of those 67 schools can log in to the website or go to the website, choose the school they want to contribute to and or their diocese if they don't have a preference and they want to give to the Diocese of Des Moines, for example, they can do that. Our friends in Des Moines, there'll be 3 people in Des Moines that will award those funds once they're raised, and all they really need to do is somehow get $1,700 to us, either through the website or via check, and allow us to use those funds to help kids.
You out there listening might know that over 26,000 students are enrolled in Iowa diocesan Catholic schools, so you might have one of your kids in those very schools. When thinking about this, the largest cohort of non-public school students in the state, Steve, why do you think is about Catholic education that is demanding this attention and allowing for things like the Iowa Catholic Scholarship Granting Organization to come into fruition?
There's quite a few reasons, not the least of which is the high academic output that we have. But we know, as Catholics, that we know that the world is better when we actively live out and practice our faith in our work lives, in our home lives, obviously, at Mass and in helping others. And the more of that we can foster, the better our world and our state becomes. So, the biggest and best, to me, piece of what we're doing is we're empowering that next generation of young folks to carry that message forward, as we've all tried to do here, today. So. And I think that's the biggest piece. But the academic piece, our students tend to do very well when they move on to anything, and that could be whether they choose to become a plumber or whatever. If they want to go to college and then they want to be a radio host on Iowa Catholic Radio.
Dream big,
they
folks.
Can do that. Stay away. They can do that, and they can do that with the same faith that they went through their school days with, and that truly is the biggest benefit to what our schools provide. Is we teach folks to live out our faith every day, no matter what we choose to do.
Well, in one of the releases, I'll quote you back to yourself. No worries here, but you said you're pleased for the upcoming opportunity to provide additional assistance for students who all have diverse and specialized needs. If you don't mind speaking to that, why is it with the diverse and specialized needs that something like the scholarship granting organization is tailor-made to help with that reality?
One of the things that folks like to say about us is that we don't take all kids, right? We hear that all the time. It isn't true. To the best of our ability, we always have. With the point of diverse needs and all of those types of situations, we want to be able to accommodate as many as we can. We are a church, first and foremost, and so we want to be able to respond or help wherever we can. And there's sometimes when we can't be a good fit because they truly are better somewhere else, and that's okay. But if we can help them, if we can bring them into our environment, if we can add that to our own school environments, everybody wins because it makes us better. So we want to be able to try and take and respond to as many diverse situations as we can, because it's truly who we are as a church.
If you have one of the 26,000 plus students enrolled in diocesan Catholic schools here in Iowa, we're talking about how the Iowa Catholic Scholarship Granting Organization can help make defray those costs, make it easier to be a part of this work. We're speaking with Steve Kane. This is a work of the Iowa Catholic Conference, so that means it's all for a diocese. It's the whole state. Steve, what do you think is the significance of that? That instead of it being a school here, a diocese here, that really this is the four bishops and dioceses coming together to try to address this in a statewide way?
The foresight that it took for our four bishops to join together to do this, I can't speak to that. It's incredible for me. I think it's an incredible opportunity for the state. We are better together than we are separate. We are all Catholic. And I think the exciting piece of this is that we bring our own strengths to the table here, and everyone gets to share in those. And if you looked at the organization that's forming right now, and the four of us really that are driving this along with our four bishops, the spirit of working together, sharing ideas, everybody grabbing a piece and going with it, it hasn't been a surprise, but it's been wonderful to experience and to be able to work through, so that we can provide this opportunity for families in the state of Iowa. That quite honestly, I've always believed that money was the object for people to attend our schools in the past. If some of those barriers can go away, we truly will be able to build something very, very special here.
So just to note, so this begins in 2027, correct?
Correct.
And so when 2027 rolls around, just one more time for folks listening, what all does this involve, and how do they go about seeking this out if they are interested?
That'll be the easy part, and we hope to make that as apparent to them as possible through bulletin inserts and pulpit spots and things like that. But in the meantime, for right now, we have a Facebook page, Iowa Catholic SGO. We're going to use that, at least for now, while the website's being built, to share any information and updates that we have. We have all the paperwork filed, but we're still waiting for the Treasury Department to give us the rules on the bill, so there's only so many things we can say yet. Mm-hmm. Once the Treasury Department releases those rules in the fall, we'll have a lot more to share at that point, and certainly, hopefully, by then we have the website up and running as well. We've already followed all of the Catholic schools. We're working on following all of our parishes, so they should have instant access to that information. Their school administrators at their local school should, at some point, sooner than later, have information to share, or they can just direct them to me, because I'll take anybody's questions and phone calls anytime.
Well, to that note,
anybody else.
How do they get a hold of you then?
Well, if they want to call me, I'll just give you my office number. I actually work for the Archdiocese of Dubuque. My direct number is 563-552-0297. And my email address is s.Steve.Kane, Kane, at dbq, short for Dubuque, dbqarch.org. Sorry, there's not two dots, just one. But dbqarch.org is my email address, and I can answer any questions that anyone has in the meantime. And like I said, by fall, we hope to have the rules from the bill. We can start posting those, start sharing information so that we're ready to go on January 1st.
Absolutely wonderful, and more to come indeed. We've been talking about how the Education Freedom Tax Credit can apply to your Catholic education. If your child is one of the 26,000 plus students who are currently enrolled in Iowa diocesan Catholic schools. It's the Iowa Catholic Scholarship Granting Organization, and more information coming up soon. We have been speaking with Steve Kane, and Steve, we appreciate you coming on the Catholic Morning Show.
Thank you. I appreciate everyone's time this morning.
What legacy would you like to leave? As part of the Legacy Society, your gift supports the future of the Iowa Catholic Radio Network. By participating in the planned giving process, you can be assured that when you leave this earth, your charitable gift will continue to support this apostolate and its mission of connecting people to Christ. If you're interested in including Iowa Catholic Radio as part of your charitable gift planning, call me, Belle Marasco, at 515-223-1150. Thank you for your prayerful support.